Welcome everybody back to Saluki Summer Access with Saluki Basketball, and one of the guys that everybody's ready to hear from. He's one of the 6 returners to the Saluki basketball program this year, Damien Mayo Jr., just fresh off the floor after a workout. Damien, how's it going?
It's great, honestly. It's a blessing. First week was tough, but I feel like it was much needed. The guys getting together, we meshing, coaching staff getting in, talking to us. It's been a great experience for me. It's like, I'm not even going to lie. Throughout my 4 years of basketball, I'm probably the most excited this year, senior year, so I'm really happy.
Why do you feel that way?
Last year I feel like there was a lot of peaks and valleys. It was a lot of ups and downs, and I feel like this year can be more consistent. There won't be as much highs and lows, And I just really like the team. I like everybody on the team, the personalities, the cohesiveness, the togetherness already. We seem like we have the right mindset to go win a championship.
One of the biggest things that I give you credit for, Damien, was halfway through last year when we were catching up with you post-game. I actually think it was the road game at Evansville, and you were very honest in saying, when I first got here, I didn't really understand what SIU meant, and like you see the banners, but like you don't fully understand the history. Now you've had a year in it. You've had a year in the program under Coach Nagy. The differences in your understanding level of what it means to wear that today as we sit versus a year ago at this time?
Huge difference. When you first introduce to something, you're kind of naive. You don't know the history. You don't know the background. You don't know how deep people get into being a Saluki. So as you can tell, I learned quick. First time being here last year under Coach Nagy, and it's really a brotherhood. People come back to talk to us all the time. People reach out all the time. We can be walking around in different cities, and we hear Go Dogs all the time. So it's really a brotherhood, and the type of cohesiveness I want, in a school, because I'm not gonna lie, Missouri State, we were together, but it was really the players, like the community. We didn't have that much community engagement. While here it's night and day difference. Yeah. So it's just a blessing to be supported by people and actually genuinely loved by the fans.
You've been a traveling man. You've been everywhere, it feels like, over the last month. But
yeah.
The importance, though, I say that somewhat jokingly, but there is times, Damien, where you do need to unplug.
Yeah,
How
sure.
good has that last month been since school wrapped up and now, of course, summer access started?
Especially with how last year ended, how the season ended. It was a well-needed rest. I took the whole month of May off. I didn't play no games. I ain't watched no anime. I traveled a little bit. I went to Savannah, Miami, a couple other places. So it was a good month off. I was having a lot of fun. Still working out. Basketball don't stop, but I enjoyed myself outside of SIU.
We'll get to this team and the excitement level it's building, but I do want to look back a little bit with you. When you go and you assess your year personally, what's the first thing that comes off to you as this needs to get better for me?
Honestly, I feel like last year was, I wouldn't say I had a bad year, but for me and my standards and what I wanted to do, I say I didn't meet my goals, and that's not always necessarily a bad thing. You set goals to reach, and if you don't reach them, you set more goals to reach again. So for me, last year it was just, staying engaged the whole time, being more of an impact throughout the game. I don't have to score. I can impact games in other ways, and last year I felt like I was a bit like forcing it, like trying to press on and try to do what I need to do for me, being a little selfish. And I mean, halfway through the season, I feel like everybody got better, but that's one thing we all need. We need to be so unselfish, because the team we have this year, everybody can succeed. We so deep, we're so talented, everybody can eat.
There are many reasons, and some of those reasons can be viewed as excuses to what you kind of said. A little bit of slow start, not just for you, but for everybody in the team, and then ultimately it got going. What do you take from that experience? Granted, different pieces now, you want to build a better team structure, all of that. But what can you use from that experience to when you ultimately get to the start of the year this year, you try to prevent that type of slow start?
Honestly, like you said, we had 6 returners. The guys that felt that way last year should keep that same hurt, keep that same pain, keep that same anger, and bring it to the next year. Like for me, I don't want to be in the same position we was last year. Like I'm going to stress it to the guys how important it is to start the season off strong. And we really want to change this program. We want to bring back championships. So It's in everybody's minds. We know what we have to do. We know what we need to do, and then we have our coaching staff right behind us, pushing us, making sure we get better every single day. So for me, the biggest thing we just need to do is just take it one day at a time.
Your impact was felt, no doubt, in key moments last year, and when you weren't in the game, I think it also really understated and reinforced how important of a role you played for the team a year ago. Now, how do you increase that role, Damien? Many people say when I say that question, many think, oh, Luke's got to probably assume that that's more points being scored.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily what that relates to. Just how can you have your effect level be felt even more?
I feel like I just buckle down and be me. My job this year is to lead this team. I want to be the leader of the group. I want to, keep everybody engaged, keep everybody together. But for me to have a bigger impact, I just have to just be engaged with the guys, talk to them. I'm one of the seniors this year, so I have a lot of little guys under me. So I got to show them the ropes, be the person somebody can lean on. And if I feel like I can be an outlet to everybody on the team, I feel like I can be available and do what I need to do.
Even though I see no gray, you're the old head now,
I know, bro. I'm the youngest. I'm one of the old young dudes, man. I can't even cap, man. But, hey, it's a blessing to be in my position. I'm so happy. The guys around me are a blessing to me. I feel like they're extensions of me, It's a brotherhood. They're my brothers. I go lay my life on the line for them. So it's a good environment over here. I'm real happy.
There are parts where you guys, of the 6 who are coming back, that are somewhat included in the recruiting process of new guys, but that's different than once you finally get here and you get acclimated. You're in the locker room a lot of times of the day. What has stood out about this group now that you've had a week underneath your belt? We're talking to you here on Friday after the final week of practice, of just the feel within the group now that you're starting to get to know one another.
I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I feel like this team this year is just we're more cohesive. Like from the jump, we've been hanging out together. We've been talking all the time. We've been doing stuff outside of basketball. On the court, I feel like everybody has their niche. So it's like I feel like the team's so deep because we can attack it many different ways. We can go big, we can go small, we can go fast, we can go slow. You can run sets, you can run motion. I feel like with this team we can do it all, So I'm just really excited to get out here with the coaches and actually start learning team concepts. So it's going to be an exciting year.
You mentioned how I want to be a clear-cut leader. And last year I think you were one of those.
Yeah.
But there was also that, all right, what exactly does Coach Nagy want this staff? You're getting to know the staff as well as them getting ready to know you. It's kind of clear and obvious. I understand when I ask this. But you've been through now a week. Where do you feel the differences of when you go through a workout now, knowing all the coaches, knowing their expectations? Like, what's the biggest thing you feel as a player when you had that experience with everybody compared to a year ago when that wasn't the case?
I feel like with anything, if you're just not learning, you're just not beginning, you're going to be timid. You're going to be, like, more laid back because you're filling everything out. Like this year, you see me screaming all the time, yelling, like I'm doing what I do all the time because I know what is expected and I know what is wanted from Coach. Coach Nagy wants the players to be many coaches on the floor. So just knowing what he wants and sharing it with the guys has been a blessing for me. Honestly, it's just me being me. I can't really describe it. It's just I feel like this is the person I am, the personality I give off. I want to be a leader. I want to help people around me, and that's just the biggest thing because I feel like everybody can succeed.
Everyone, it's a common figuring out the best way to try to phrase it. I don't want to say it's a crutch, but everyone will say, hey, this team needs better basketball IQ.
Yeah.
Coach Nagy has talked about already this summer. He truly believes that the basketball IQ aspect is already much further along than it was a year ago. What are signs to you where you see the same thing as a player?
For me, it's just knowing terminology, knowing where you're supposed to be on the floor. And, like, last year, like, I wouldn't say we had the best IQ, but I wouldn't blame the players because they didn't know,
Yeah.
Like they didn't have time to experience or learn the certain things that Coach Nagy wants. And since we was put together so fast and we started so late, it was hard for us to adjust at that pace. So, like, now, since we have time, Coach Nagy's been breaking everything down, actually explaining what the cuts are, the movements we want, and where we want to be on the floor. And I feel like right now everybody's just absorbing it so fast. Like we're all like just sponges trying to get more and more knowledge. So that's just been a good thing for us.
We didn't get a chance to catch up with you before you went on your little break
Yeah.
for the last month. In a lot of those interviews I did with the guys that were coming back was, what is it about those six that you guys believe collectively you can carry those experiences from last year? I've asked you a similar question to that already.
Mm-hmm.
But as part of those six, what about the six returners, Damien, gives you the eagerness, the confidence, whatever word, phrase you want to use, of like, hey, we understand now, we really want to push this new group that's coming in with a lot of talent to say, hey, this is the expectation of being here within the program?
I wholeheartedly believe that the six returners that came back, that experienced what we went through last year, know, like, this has to change. Like, we have to do something different. Like, a big saying that we always talk about is changing your mindset. If you want something to be done, you have to change your whole mindset, because if you do the same thing over and over, it's insanity.
Yeah.
So us, we talked about last year a lot. We all chopped it up, and what the biggest thing for me is just the returning six experienced it. Like, we went through it. We was in the locker rooms when we was 0-5. We was in the locker room together when we was down 20 to Evansville at home. We was in the locker room when we lost to Murray State twice at home. So these experiences just brings us together, and we can almost relive them. Telling the stories to the new guys and explaining it to them, like, the Missouri Valley is not an easy conference. Anybody can get beat any given night. It's not the top of the top is the top and the bottom of the bottom is the bottom. Everybody has their talents, everybody has their perks, and everybody can do damage in the Valley. So us as a collective six, we know what we need to do, and we've been talking to the guys.
It should be this way regardless of where you're at. But when you think of all six of you that are coming back, the other five plus yourself, where have you guys gotten better? It does appear this week, again, short amount of time where you've basically had open gym majority of the week, and then you've separated 2 different days to do individual groups as guard and bigs. Do you see a lot of improvement out on the floor from when you're talking about the six guys who are coming back?
So I feel like last year a big issue was knowing our role. Since we have so many moving parts, we changed our offense a lot, changed our defense a lot. I feel like most guys didn't know what role they should play, And this year I feel like everybody's falling in love with their role. Like every guy has their certain. If you can shoot the ball. If you're big, post up, you can post up, get people open screen, So they're finding their role, and I feel like when we found our role, we flourish as a team because we know what we can expect from each other. And we're showing that first week, honestly. So that's why I feel like we have a lot of improvement. I feel like last year we were just a little discombobulated,
Yeah.
So it was just a lot of confusion, a lot of disorientation, didn't know this, So this year we're starting off on the right track.
Even though there may not be, like, you take a guy like Isaiah Stafford who comes in, who you've obviously played against and understand the significance. You don't really have to tell him a lot of those Valley stories because he's lived through it. But even a guy like Kelron, played last year at Jacksonville State at a high level, was a starter on a team that went to the NIT. So, like, he's got winning experience he brings in. Even though there may be newcomers that don't have a ton of Valley experience outside of Isaiah, what have you seen here early in the small sample size that goes, we got the right pieces?
I love our pieces, honestly. I feel like this year was real methodical, thought out. We picked the coaches staff picked out players that they believe that can help bring this team championships, and I feel like their picks reflect that. Like, when we play in this first week, Q, Jalen, Zay, Luke, who else we got? Prince, all of them, Caden. Like, they all came out and showed their skill. Like, Daniel, everybody came out, had a great first week. We all competed, we all bonded, especially in the weight room. Like, we all hyping each other up, just playing around. Probably Jalen, probably my favorite freshie right now. He's the funniest. He's just a troll, so don't tell nobody. But that's my guy right now. But I just love the team. I love how the coaching staff picked the team. everybody's so cool. We don't have no egos, and it's just great vibes so far.
Get into the competitive nature of it. And you brought up some of those freshies, the young guys that are in. There's been moments throughout this week, as an example, where I've seen not necessarily you are picking on a Luke Walsh, but there are moments where when
but
you
the
guys
thing
are
is, it's like I might pick on Luke, but we have Max over here blocking my shot 4 or 5 times, so Luke can come back and talk to me. So that's just like the competitive spirit about it. Like we know everything is in between those 4 lines. We can do whatever, but outside of those 4 lines, we're brothers at the end of the day. We ain't gonna take nothing for granted. So it can get a little spicy in there. We talk a little crazy to each other, but at the end of the day, it's all love.
I bring that up, though, Damien, because you go through it. I think it's all healthy.
Mm-hmm.
But what's also healthy is the other end of it.
Yeah.
I don't think there's either of it's. You don't see Luke get into where some freshmen can.
His
that,
headspace.
Yeah, in that headspace. Like, he's handled that adversity however you want to handle it well. And you as well, kind of like, hey, this is the expectation, man. Like when you're coming in now, like it's a little bit different. It's being handled in a very healthy way.
Yeah, me, in my experience, I experienced being a freshman, looking up to the older guys. Just wanted to be a part of the group. So I kind of know, but at the same time, you have to establish we have a standard. Like becoming an older guy, you have different responsibilities. Like the younger kids look up to you to lead. They look up to you to do the right thing. So if I set the example, I have to do everything the right way. And one thing I can give everybody credit is taking constructive criticism. We don't have nobody that, after somebody get on them, they pout, they get in their feelings. Everybody knows it's for the betterment of each other. Because why would we tell each other something that worsens the group? Yeah. We all together at the end of the day. So we just telling each other what we need to work on So it's not the message it's not the tone of the message, it's the message you should hear, So everybody's been doing a great job. I've been picking on Luke. He's from St. Louis, so that's my guy. Played him a couple of times, beat him every time. So
he's just trying to take your St. Louis crown. That's all it is,
I got one more year. He can have it after that.
Before we let you go, Damien, as you kind of implied, and for our fans, this week was mostly individuals and playing just 5-on-5 open gym. Mm-hmm. I guess is the best way to characterize it. Next week is when the team workouts do officially start.
Can't wait. Excited.
What's most important for you right now of saying, hey, when we start getting into those, not that you're not doing it now, but just what you want to do?
The biggest thing for me right now is establishing that mindset. You have to manifest. I truly believe that if you want to win a championship, you have to talk about it. You have to do the things to win championships. You ain't going to turn around, flip a switch, turn everything on, and just come together. It's these times, these practices in June, July that creates championship teams. And the biggest thing I want to do is stress the mindset of being a champion. Everything we do, whenever it's a tough workout, do you want to be a champion? Whenever it's a tough practice, you want to be a champion. You want a tough lift, you want to be a champion. Like, it's just we got to have a different mindset this year. We got to be hungry, honestly. Nobody talking to us about us in the Valley. Like, it's just we got to be dogs, man.
What's the one characteristic? And look, there's multiple characteristics you need. I understand that. But to you, what do you believe is the characteristic this team needs to accomplish what you just said that it didn't have a year ago? It's not talking negative about a year ago. It's just because you've lived through it, what does this team need to develop now that it did not develop a year ago?
Mentality. I just feel like the dog mentality. That's all we need because we got the right pieces. All we need to do is be aggressive and we got to dictate how other people play. We can't let people dictate how we play. That's how I feel. So with that mentality, we can go out there and do a lot.
Damien, appreciate the time, brother. Looking forward to the rest of the summer.
Yes, sir.
Damien Mayo Jr. We'll be back with more for Summer Access with Saluki Basketball.